Man, I have got to get this done because it's been bugging me for days. So, most people make up their minds fairly early as to what ideology they're going to embrace, and ever after, the way the human mind works is that if you accept as true things that are not true because of sloppy thinking, you will be locked into that ideology for a long time. But there are those rare, bright, intelligent young people that are still in the process of searching for the truth. And so I'm going to give it to you. And since many of you are interested in science, I'm going to come at this from a scientific point of view. So I'm one of the few scientists that have studied Euclid. It used to be long ago that everybody had to learn Euclid. But then when more chemical knowledge and knowledge on physics came out, because Euclid was he was a bit of a resource hog, all right, and so to teach the new chemistry and modern physics, they decided to cut back on Euclid. But at one time, everyone that went to school had to learn Euclid. Abraham Lincoln was a diligent student of Euclid. Napoleon was a student of Euclid. Isaac Newton, and the list just goes on and on and on. So anyways, I'm going to apply a little bit of Euclidean logic to the age-old question of whether or not there is a God. So Euclid's method was, he did not allow for any assumptions. And so everything had to be measured, and everything had to be proven step by logical step, and there had to be a mathematical component to everything that he proved. So, but the secret to his success was that he asked the smallest questions possible. And so, and he realized that if you asked enough small questions to which you got a certain answer, you would eventually have enough clues, kind of like a Sudoku puzzle, by which you could arrive at certainty. And so, so let's begin. All right. What are bowling balls made out of? Well, the simplest answer, to which we have a certain answer, is not other bowling balls. And so, so then we ask ourselves, well, what are golf balls made out of? And the simplest answer, to which we have a high degree of certainty, absolute certainty, is not other golf balls. In other words, you couldn't cut open a golf ball of a certain mass and volume and find two golf balls of equal mass and volume to the first golf ball, or to the original golf ball, because we know that that would be absurd. And so it has to do with things that are equal cannot also be greater than, right? You can't have something that's equal to and also less than or greater than. So So yes, so we know that golf balls are not made out of other golf balls. And then we ask ourselves the question, what are marbles made out of? And yes, you've got the pattern, not other marbles. And so, but what's forming here is also a pattern, right? So, so we start to realize that nothing can be made out of itself. Everything is made out of a substance. And if you choose to cut on that for a little while, you realize that there can be no ultimate particle. The level of substances just gets smaller and smaller infinitum. It's an infinite series. So there is no beginning to the subatomic particles. There is no prime particle which is not made out of something else. And that seems a bit strange, but it is not as strange as believing that something can be made out of itself. So we're faced with one absolute impossibility and one very difficult to comprehend possibility. And so we must kick out the absurd impossibility and go with the strange and difficult to understand. We have to rule out the impossible, and that leaves us with, that everything is made out of something else. And the pattern just repeats infinitum. And so some of you that might be scratching your head right now and thinking, really? Hold on, because there are other branches that we can apply Euclidean logic to, which all corroborate the same thing. So let's take cause and effect. All right, we know that nothing can happen that does not have a cause. You cannot have an event without a cause, right? So, so once we realize that, and we realize also that every cause is an event of a previous cause, again, the pattern of the infinite series appears, because there can be no event without a cause, and since we know that events happen, the only thing that we're left with is that the series of cause and effect has been going on infinitum since eternity past. And so, and incidentally, that's kind of a strange coincidence, or a strange concept, but the Hebrews got this. They got it very well. In the Psalms, King David said, from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. So he understood that there was no beginning, just an infinite past, and God was always there, and so was time. And so, so there you have a cause and effect, and the pattern of matter both agree that there could be no beginning, that there's just been an infinite series from the long ago. And so, and I find it strange that the Hebrew Scripture would agree with that perfectly. That does create a number of questions, such as what was God doing then for an eternity before the 6 days of Asa when he decorated the earth for life. But we'll get into that later. So there you have it. The truth about cause and effect states that the pattern has been going on from eternity past, and matter has an infinite series from which it is made up of. All right. And there is also the math universe parallel, right? We know that everything in nature obeys the math.